Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the NLC. We're getting ready to go into our second game, Dusty versus Granit. Fairly close to the standings right now, but I think it's fair to say that Dusty have been on a bit more of an upward trend, where Granit feels like maybe they plateaued a little bit and had a few rougher games so far.
You know, that's what I've been saying, right? But it could also come down to the schedule. In all honesty, the last team Granit had to play was BTXL, and, the last team Dusty had to play was Godsend, who's sitting at the bottom of the league with Dusty. So, when I say they've been in an uptrend trajectory, yes, it's true, but, it's like I'm only giving you the parts of the truth that I want you to see.
You're manipulating us, basically.
I think for me, Granit have very much caused issues for a lot of teams in the group. And I think we have to have context here because coming into the season, the expectation was this was going to be one of the weaker teams in the league. I think a lot of people looked at them as being bottom end, and they've exceeded that. But I think they are still middle of the pack. So when they lose to BTXL, that's understandable. But Dusty have been a lower end team. So Granit, based on that, are coming in as favorites. But as you said, form is everything. How well you're playing recently is a big factor. And if Dusty can continue their momentum, they could take this one.
I predict Tricked ban. Oh, not Tricked, but Victor ban. There we go. I don't know why I said Tricked. I was just going to say, yeah, there it is.
In this game, mate.
No, I know. Maybe later. My brain is just too Danish for this, but let's go for it. All right, Victor and Rice has come through, so it's just the Sahira tax you have to play, and you apparently have to pay in tax when playing against Sahira. So Hecarim coming out as the last one. We know Galban has been opting onto that as well, and with Seraphine and Olaf being out of the way, it leaves open champions like Pantheon. The Kaiser is still open, available as well. The dangerous thing I still don't like with the Kaiser first pick is that it always leaves the other rotation open of the Aphelios Thresh, or in this case scenario, you could just go Thresh and then pair it up with Pantheon, and then you could always just third pick the Aphelios.
Yeah, I think being able to respond to it instantly is really powerful. I think having that opportunity, because a lot of people look at Kaiser as incredibly strong in the right circumstances, but not infallible. There's definitely ways you can punish her in the laning phase and also draft a composition to deal with that. And already I'm looking at Granit, and they picked up the Kaiser. I mean, it's not the Kaiser, the Xayah. They picked up the Galio. There's a lot of zone control there. There's a lot of defensive peel. If Kaiser is diving in on the backline, she's going to have a difficult time against both of those.
And just in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, so Pantheon could still come out. We know in the past, Legions used to play a lot of Twisted Faith as well. So if you want to opt into something that opens up the map a bit more and can counter the global presence that you get in a Galio, Twisted Faith could be a pick as well. But obviously can have a hard time blind picking it. But you know that Sahira most of the time will always just default onto Orianna. It's the third champion he just picks afterwards.
Right, well, do look over to Granit, looking for their final lock-in here. See what they want to go for. Maybe a jungler, seeing as some of the junglers are left open. It's going to be the Volibear lock-in. Obviously, remember the Galio flexible still, so haven't really revealed too much from the side of Granit.
Yeah, I think it's important with how strong Renekton is at the moment to pick something that's going to have a good matchup into it before we go in the second rotation. You're providing some strong frontline, point and click CC as well, which is really valuable against the likes of the Kaiser. And already I feel like Granit are in a pretty comfortable spot, but Dusty, their solo laners have that early aggression. Definitely something they can capitalize on, and particularly for Chilm, who often likes to play these farming junglers, I think there is setup there for him to pick one of them.
And this is interesting because I just had to double check this, but Sahira has only played 4 champions this split. He's played the, obviously, Ryze and the Victor and the Orianna, and the 4th one was Syndra. So if you ban out the Orianna here again, like, you'll have to pivot down further into this champion pool that we're not necessarily sure he has. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Orianna ban is going to come out, and if it's something that Dusty will choose to respect, or if they just want the Orianna matchup. Because remember, it's not that bad of a matchup for Syndra. Like as Orianna, you have to go for the Mercury Treads, but it's a pretty neutralizing lane, and there goes the ban as well.
Well, I mean, Sahira, when he spoke to Foxdrop a couple of weeks back, said, Ryze and Victor aren't even his top 10 champs. So I'm waiting to see those champs at some point. See what they do decide to pick up here, though. Expect it probably to be something in the jungle role, and then they can decide where that Galio is going. So just having a look at where the junglers are. The Olaf and the Udyr and the Hecarim band away. There's still Graves up. There's still the Nidalee up as well. There's a fair few things. And it's going to be the Yone mid for Sahira. So Galio is going support.
I think the reason why they choose not to flex that is because like Dr. Chaos is literally just it's his most played champion. Like when this Galio goes through, you immediately think of Dr. Chaos on it, and we haven't really seen Sahira on something that was more facilitating. Like he always likes to have this champion where you're able to go in and make some plays yourself. So Yona is definitely going to be interesting. It's harder to pilot than some of the champion he usually does, so it's a bit of a curveball. But you know what? That's what Granit are known for.
Yeah, definitely an opportunity to punish the immobility of the Syndra. You can find windows, particularly if you have a jungler who can also punish that. But I like the Lilia coming off of Chill. It's something you can get a lot of momentum with in the jungle. It's something that's going to thrive with the priority. The only final thing is this support pick. Alice is a possibility. Leona's a possibility. Gragas is another one that can also work really well here. So pretty nicely rounded out composition here for Dusty. They have the scaling option in the Kai'Sa, but they have a lot of early pressure to allow this Lilia to sort of take over the match. And the question is going to be, what will Galban answer with in this one? Because I think having something with a decent rate of clear is pretty important if you're going to just maintain momentum. But actually, you know, going for the Skarner, which is something that has had quite a resurgence since Chemtank got reduced in cost. Obviously, it was always going to be his favorite mythic just for that extra movement speed for the engage. And right now, looking at Granit's composition, it is a bit heavy on AD, but it's really going to cause issues for the likes of that Kai'Sa or even the Syndra, because they have so little room to navigate. There's so much dive, so much threat onto that backline.
And at the same time, like, it's so core that you get your 3 items or just mythics in general, and now you have to pay the QSS tax. And QSS, you don't get too much value of it because the MMR in the item is not really going to matter when you're against Granit. So obviously you get it for the cleansing effect. But Dusty, at the same time, I am kind of favoring that champion. We like easy to execute. We like that stuff that's easy to play around with. And just by looking at this, like, you will have some bot lane priority, you will have some top lane priority, but that priority goes into a Skarner jungle. So I'm a bit uncertain as well how he, considering how well he's going to do with that pressure he gets.
Well, we're going to have to find out. It's time for Orcs to step aside because it's time for our delightfully dynamic duo in Trouble and Excoundle to take over from this game. So over to you guys.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I've got something caught in my throat as soon as you threw over to me. I wasn't quite ready. Thank you so much, guys, on the desk. I'm looking forward to this game. Trouble, what did you make of those? What did you make of those drafts before we head in?
So I found it very interesting how, you know, if you're at the bottom of the table, you have to play dirty. And Dusty played really dirty in the draft. They banned the 2 main champions that Sahir has found success in the NLC. And then they also banned Galban's Hecarim. Not only that, but then you saw a full AD composition being built out right there by Granit. And the only AP jungler that Galban has actually played in the NLC is the Lilia, which actually got yoinked away by Chill. So they're forcing their mid-jungle duo to first-time champions in the NLC and debut them. And I'll agree with the desk, like Granit is very AD heavy, and if that doesn't go in their favor, they're going to have a really tough time later on.
Well, it is the questions that have been raised about Granit is that when, you know, Sahira specifically hasn't been on one of his 2 main champions, like the Victor or the Rise, there have been I would say questionable performances, but they obviously have this plan. They obviously have the Skarner plan. They wouldn't have picked it if they hadn't had this kind of in mind since the start. And that kind of shakes things up a little bit because we've seen a little bit of Skarner, but he hasn't been super popular as of late. And as Orc said, making a tiny resurgence, seeing a little bit more of Skarner here and there. What do you think needs to happen for Granit to come out victorious here? Because this is, again, another important matchup for both teams. Like Dusty, again, similar position to Eminem. They want to avoid relegation, but Granit also contesting for the top of the table.
So the thing here is, I feel like Granit has a lot of setup in their lanes. They've got the Zaya with the Gallier. You can get an engage out of there. You've got the Volibear up top, and then Yone after 6 is going to be really easy to try and reach the Syndra and try to get a kill over there. And as well as when adding the Skarner ultimate right on top of that, it's going to be very easy for picks. I think this is how Granit want to play the game. They want a really super fast-paced game. They want to catch Dusty off guard because Dusty has not been the cleanest when it comes to the early game. So if you can actually put them down that early, it's going to be much easier for you because then you're going to have to force QSSs. You're going to push them further back in gold, and it's going to be a walk in the park. But if that doesn't happen, I do actually really favor Dusty's draft right here. I really enjoy it. There is the potential for engage with the Gragas and the Syndra Spheres, and then you've got Renekton, Lilia, and Kai'Sa that can actually play around and sort of dance, if you will, around the fight.
It looks like we have a either late invade or potential lane swap coming out here from Granit. They are all grouping up around this blue side. Galban now moving through. Sahira is there as well, but they will get spotted out. So no, nothing crazy happening. They're just going to go for the Spire, and looks like things will return to normal.
Yeah, I don't expect, honestly, anything crazy to happen in the early game. I think they were just trying to take down the wards because, let's be honest here, Skarnet is the slower jungle when it comes to clearing camps, and Lily has absolutely no problem with that. So spotting where Skarnet is going to make it extremely easy for Tilm to try and get priority from a lane and move over into the Scorpion's jungle, try to steal some of the camps away, get ahead in that regard.
I kind of want to talk a little bit about the bot lane from Dusty as well. I feel like that has been one of the shining lights for them. I think Hoyes and Pedersen have had some pretty good performances, and generally when these two tend to do well, I often see Dusty doing pretty well in general. Do you think this is a game where we can see Hoyes step up, on this Kai'Sa? Is this something that you expecting to be a core part of the win condition for Dusty?
Honestly, I might actually disagree with you. I believe that the Dusty bot lane is not the core of the team. Every time I feel like Tilm pops off, you kind of see them snowballing, but it's a big factor, like you mentioned, that the bot lane actually does well, because the games that they've lost, the bot lane has massively fallen behind. So I don't necessarily think it's about the bot lane carrying the game as much as it is for them to stay even and be a stable lane for the rest of the map to play through.
Yeah, kind of. I guess it's what I was kind of similarly going for, in the sense that when they do well, Dusty does well, but obviously when they don't do well, it's a little bit rough for Dusty overall. We actually saw Flaxshish have probably his best performance of the split on the Gangplank previously. Yeah, and maybe this is a turn of performance for him, because I think the one lane that we have had the most questions about has been this top lane. I think Flaxshish has had some relatively lackluster, maybe subpar performances at times. So maybe we'll see if he can step it up on this Renekton and continue that kind of dominant performance that he had previously.
Yeah, his Gangplank was like 15 out of 17 kill participation. It was actually nuts, together with Tilm's Karthus. Now that we're focusing though in the top lane, I just have to say that, if he wants to take advantage of the lane, he has to do something early on, I was about to say, but he doesn't get any earlier than 3 minutes and 30 seconds, Excandral.
Yeah, and that was a straight-up solo kill, 1v1. I mean, Flaxshish maybe has found his groove again in this game. There's going to be a root coming through, then maybe a taunt, but it'll be getting knocked away by Pedersen. The body slam does its job to stop Dr. Chaos getting a relatively big taunt off on Hoyes. And so it is just a little tit for tat in the bot lane.
Samus was actually used his shield right here, and Flaxshish jumps in. His W with full fury breaks shields. So Volibear did not have as much avoidance as he thought he did, especially with the shield broken, and the Q sealed the deal. That was beautifully played, honestly, by Flaxshish. And honestly, Alexander, yes, if Flaxshish gets his groove back, I believe that there's huge potential to carry through the top lane.
We saw exactly what Mummus was capable of on the Renekton in the previous game. You give a start like that to Flaxshish, we may expect performances of similar standard, although that Tamo's going aggressive under Flaxshish's tower right now. Flaxshish is not yet backed, has got that teleport available. I imagine he'll be back in due course to pick up a couple of items, maybe a Phage, and start that journey towards the Gore Drinker.
Yeah, and as you can see, there's already a freeze happening on the top side for Flaxshish. I don't know if he wants to break that, because the Volibear does not have a teleport, so keeping your lane there, he's actually going to push that and reset the lane, but it would be so nice if you could freeze it right in front of his tower and just TP back, as they're trying to help Yone push his lane, because obviously against Syndra it's really hard.
Yeah, Legions, that was very aggressive. Oh my god, he gets the kill onto Galban. They will trade 1-for-1 at the end of the day with Dr. Chaos picking it up, but here comes Flaxshish, a second kill for him onto Sahira, and now it may be a kill as Dr. Chaos actually flashes away. That was a really well-timed teleport from Flaxshish, and now we have a 2-0 Renekton in the top lane. Let's take a look at that again.
So Galban right here is basically babysitting Sahira to try and help him to push the wave, because Sahira needs to back. Syndra has already backed, as you can see, and they're just going way too aggressive. The point was just to babysit your mid lane to push the wave, and of course, when Flaxshish comes in with that strong Renekton, he also seals the deal. It was very well played from Dusty. We said that Galban could potentially be looking for plays with Ascana, but that is way too early, and Tammuz, oh my God.
Yeah, it was a level 6 versus a level 5. Clearly, when that ultimate becomes available for the Renekton, looks for that all-in potential. Flaxis really off to a good start right now. He's looking pretty scary up in the top lane. I believe we've seen a 2-0 Renekton in the early game before somewhere today, and that
it didn't go that well, Alessandro.
Exactly, that did not bode well for the team that had to face it. Now it is going to be an early, it's going to be an early pickup of an Infernal Drake here for Granit. Unfortunately, Dusty A not that bothered about it, but B not in position to contest it either without that teleport on Flaxis.
Yeah, honestly, you don't really care. It's just the first dragon. It's no big deal. You do have champions that do scale later on, especially when the gold dragon comes in from Flaxis, which is going to be much earlier than any other mythic item on the map that I can see right now that's going to be built. So once he has it, they're going to be able to contest every single other Drake from there on out. You can see that the goal difference is massive already, 1.1k up onto that Volibear, which I'm not sure what Thomas is going to choose to build. We've seen like Whippo go for the Trinity Force build, but we've also seen like chem tanks and other more tanky items coming in. Granit are going to opt for the lane swap, it seems. They do want to go for that Rift Herald, but Dusty's bringing the entire team, and Tamos is down bot lane without TP.
Yeah, and it's not up just yet. You've got a little bit of time before that Rift Herald becomes available. Now, Legion's ever so slightly overextended here. We'll get the stun onto Sahira, but the ultimate comes through. A lot of damage there, taken very low, but I think he will survive through the ticks of that Ignite. The potions doing their work. Come on, Legions. That was just so greedy.
No way you walk forward for that. Insta punish right there. Really well played from Dr. Chaos. I mean, obviously he was trying to push the wave, right? He's like, surely the Syndra doesn't walk in. Surely he doesn't walk in. Well, guess what? He walks in, so...
Yeah, but like, you didn't need to. Like, you had... Let's have a look back. Like, we'll take a look back at that fight there. Obviously, nice stun.
That was really well played right here from Sahir and Dr. Chaos. They tried to stun lock the Legions on that Syndra, tried to take him down. The Ignite, unfortunately, is just not enough elastic. And Legions there is greedy to try and push the wave when it's already been pushed by his teammates and gets instantly punished.
Well, Flaxis, the hope for Dusty right now, looking for it again. Flashes forward. We just didn't catch the end of that fight because we have something going on around the Rift Herald right now. Pedersen immediately locked up, forced a flash over the wall. Now Hoy's backing away as Galban drags him back into the fight. Straight on top. Nice body slam onto Dr. Chaos. Stops the hero's entrance, and suddenly things turning on their head for Granit. Legion's now looking for the stun, going a little bit aggressive onto Galban, who is going to get taken down. They'll trade for the kill on to Pedersen at the end of the day, and Sahira may get a couple of plates, but a beautiful turnaround by Dusty.
Oof, that was so chaotic up there by Granit. They just didn't know what they wanted. They wanted the Rift Herald, they got it, then they should have gotten away, but they didn't because they wanted to fight, but they were in men advantage, but they didn't have the men's advantage. It was just so chaotic coming from Granit, and Dusty find the right moment to pull the trigger. Now, of course, she might be in a little bit of trouble right here. Chilm is also up top.
Yeah, Hoy's was playing a sneaky in this mode, and that allows Shelm to come up, come up and bonk him on the head to get the kill. Very sneaky Hoy's, just chilling like a Timo in a brush. It looks like Flaxis again. He's going for it again. Straight on to Tamos. We'll get the shield there. They'll break it off with the W, and now Flaxis may be entering into 2v1. Here comes Dr. Chaos on the sidelines. Tamos is taken very low. That's going to be a knock-up into the taunt. Maybe Flaxis will eventually go down. Yes, he will. The shutdown comes through. Flaxis desperate to push that advantage and gets punished.
I mean, very rightfully so, right? Because you do have the gold drinker Volibear sitting on a couple of components from his items. It's kind of like a bootyard sale in his inventory right now. But let's see this again. Let's see the top lane fight again. So they do manage to catch Pedersen off guard, but they can't quite kill him. And this is where you just bail, you just leave, because the entirety of Dusty is coming up. And that's all because we have more action.
We have more action. There comes the unleashed power from Legions. They're looking to get the final killing blow, but it will not happen as Sahira dives away. Galban and Dr. Chaos, the two-man roaming warband, will protect Sahira in the mid lane. In the meantime, Mishigu is going to get a couple of plates on bot lane tower.
Yeah, leaving the Zaya right there to probably free farm is a really good idea, especially when there's no pressure around. Boys cannot necessarily 1v1, and they're gonna pop the Reef Turtle right there. They actually want to funnel all that money into their ADC. It's not a bad choice. It's not the best choice because you do have a Yone in the mid lane, but you're never gonna be able to get that pressure in the mid lane to try and get the gold onto Yone. So you do give it to whoever you can right now. I would very much prefer the Zaya over the Volibear any day, so good for Granit.
Flaxius now into a relatively even standings. Still got a 1,000 gold lead on his top lane opponent, but Tamo's not really at threat of going down. Flaxius has looked for the kill a few times onto him, but again, it is a Volibear, has a relatively safe laning phase even when you're behind. And it's right now looking pretty good. I mean, end of the day, small advantage built up for Dusty, not a huge advantage. A lot of that gold lead coming purely through Flaxius alone. The rest of the map is actually, I would argue, slightly in favor of Granit overall, but I mean, it's a relatively even affair right now. That's going to be a stun coming out onto Pedersen. Nice lock up into the ultimate from Zahira. That is the heal, or rather the sleep coming through as Zahira dives all the way back to his spirit. Flaxius on the front line now, trying to buy some time. Hera's entrance will be there, and they've kited back successfully. Beautiful execution. Pedersen goes down.
That was very well played. If you look on the side of Dusty, though, they do have two crucial ultimates still up and available. They've got the Kai'Sa ultimate and the Syndra ultimate. On the other side, they do have the ultimate on Zaya, but Flaxius?
Yeah, Flaxius dragged into the back of the team. Well, the Gore Drinker will not save him there. It is going to be a 1-for-1 trade overall. I believe they managed to pick one up off the back of Legions. Lots of low HP bars right now, and Hoyes is relatively healthy. Here comes Pedersen too. This may be an overstep from Granit. Hoyes flashes in. He's on a killing spree, picks off the Zaya. And in the meantime, Tamo's being chased down by Chelm on the sidelines. They should be able to collapse and pick up this bear, who's maybe looking for an execute. But I don't think he'll find it as Chelm dives in, bonks him on the head, and picks up another kill.
This is just so greedy for both teams. Granit is trying to make plays, and Galban...
Yeah,
one more,
Galban. One more. Just a barrel, which should be to pick. Yeah, barrel picks it up, or rather Hoyes gets it with the basic attack. And now second dragon should get secured. This is good for Dusty because they have that scaling element of the Kai'Sa to worry about, and they are delaying that soul. They are dragging the game out further. But let's get a little bit of a replay of this. There's a lot of action that took place.
Again, Dr. Chaos and Zahira, beautiful stun lock again onto Pedersen. They get the flash off of the Syndra as well. That's great. Flaxius pops ultimate, you back off. This Renekton is still very big, it's still very beefy. Great, they disengage with the Gallia ult. They don't need to continue, and yet instead of going for the dragon, they're going for the trap while Dust they're pushing mid lane. They think they can get Flaxius. Sure, they can, but remember what we said. Syndra still has ultimate. Kai'Sa still has ultimate, and they actually do manage to punish Granit with all these low health bars and get the dragon after that. So again, Granit do manage to get the initial pick, but then they don't translate it into an objective. They greed for more, and they end up losing.
And again, that dragon is an important one to pick up for Dusty because it buys him a little bit of time. There is obviously some scaling to work about with, obviously this is just a nice ultimate from Hoyes. Gets that final stack and one more basic attack. I believe Pedersen also went for the ult to ensure they secured it, but it did go over to that Kai'Sa, who is now 4-0-1 trouble. Hoyes having a good game. The bot lane in general from Dusty having a pretty solid game here, and this is good omens for them, even though they don't have a significant gold lead to work with as of yet.
Thing is, if you look on the map, Shelly's about to pop up. Hoyes has not yet backed to buy his Gale Force, so his first item is still missing. Mishigo, on the other hand, does have his up and available, so if a fight breaks out right now, the Granit ADC is in an item's advantage. So that could be something to look at. Hoyes really desperately needs to back and buy his item if they want to fight in the river.
Yeah, Leandri's has been completed for Chelm as well. It looks like Chem Tank is finished for Galban also. So as you said, there was a couple of options for the Scanner. The Chem Tank comes through, the obvious choice to make you go fast. But I am looking towards that 80 carry diff right now. Maybe
they're pinging it.
That will play. Yeah, they're pinging it. I don't think they're going to get there in time. I think this should be a relatively easy secure right here for Dusty.
Yeah, they're going to choose to push that mid lane wave. But at the end of the day, don't really lose anything because their objective taking abilities are extremely fast, especially with such a fed Kai'Sa and having the Syndra there as well. So all in all, it was a win for the side of Dusty. They can choose to break open that mid lane tower and completely deprive Granit of a vision, move their vision line a little bit further into the jungle and try to completely choke Granit away from their own territory, try to make picks. We've seen Granit overstep, we've seen them overextend, and Dusty can actually punish that.
Granit looking pretty good right now, though. They are keeping even pace. The thing is that we haven't really talked much about scaling here. Something that is always worth talking about in the current meta with the prevalence of things like Kai'Sa. If this game goes the distance, you know, if we stay relatively even all the way up to like that 30-minute plus mark, whose money is? Who have you got your money on? Who are you expecting to come out stronger in the later stages of the game?
I think absolutely Dusty. They have so many different types of damage as Legions.
Yeah, Legions here going straight on from Sahira. Beautiful pickup from him. Sahira maybe wasn't lying to you when he said that...
Ladies and gentlemen, he's not just a Rise Victor player.
Exactly. He wasn't lying to Foxy when he said he had 10 other champions that are just as good, because this Yone performance has been relatively convincing so far. And I'll say, I haven't seen many Yones in the tournament who have had that many convincing performances, but Sahira definitely one of them right now as Chelm trying to get him away. As again, Sahira dodging away from everything. Will have the sleep if he needs it. And it looks like he will get... Yeah, he's bopping it. They're going in. The hero's entrance comes through. Will get dodged out for the most part here, but the shutdown comes through. The Liandry's doing its work as the damage over time is there, and Dr. Chaos forced to flash away. Just as I praised him, he does eventually go down.
Again, another overextension. You get the one kill, you don't need to go for the second one. Translate the numbers advantage that you've got on the map into an objective, into more vision, into a push, into another lane. Granit are pushing a little bit too hard while not necessarily being ahead and not having the late game advantages either. So Hira does a great job at killing Legions right here, one-on-one. Legions no flash, gets instantly punished, and then he proceeds to continue to go in. Pedersen is around, Chilm is right there. Even though Dr. Chaos is coming in, you can't dodge Ignite, mate. You're just gonna end up going down, and then Dr. Chaos pays for trying to help his mid laner by burning his own flash.
Well, Dusty, I think I kind of want to bring it back to the discussion about Group A. Dusty right now are right at the bottom of Group A. They're tied with Godsend at 5th and 6th. This would be a relatively important scalp for them to take. A, to keep a potential chase for Group 4, because I believe they actually tie up with Granit with this win. If they win here, they tie up at 3 and 4 with Granit in the standings. That would put them in 4th spot. Dusty, can you believe it, Trouble? In 4th spot in Group A after the start that they had. A big win for them if they can manage it.
Oh, absolutely. At this point, though, they have to go through Granit to make that happen. Galvin, what?
Oh, it's a big ultimate from Yone, though. That is Sahira popping up, but he's just dead. Sahira just dead as the volleyman jumps into the middle. Big healing coming out from Flaxis. That is the God Drinker in action, and now Hoy's on cleanup duty. And oh my word, he's got lots to clean up. A triple kill coming out from the Dusty AD carry.
That was the most beautiful wombo combo Granit could have ever gotten in any fight. And that part right there displays beautifully all the damage they're lacking. Sahira, not there yet. He had to go. He's going for the shield bow. He doesn't have that burst with his second item yet. Galban goes in, as you can see. Sahira gets a beautiful 3-man knock-up. Then Dr. Chaos gets a 4-man taunt right there, and yet there is absolutely no damage to continue. And when you asked me who do you favor and why, I'm like, Dusty, because they have so many damage dealers and so many different types of damage. The AP coming in from the Syndra, the burst coming from the Syndra, the more consistent damage coming in from the Lilia, Hoy's with the consistent AD together with Flaxis, and he's going for the Kraken build as well. He has to deal with so many tanks. It's just going to be so easy to burn through Granit's front line, and you saw how fast Granit went down, and even though the wombo combo was there, it was beautiful. It just wasn't enough because Sahira doesn't do enough damage, and Mishigu basically has to stand still and try to put some auto attacks down, but it's not possible when you've got these monsters in front of you.
7-0-2 on Hoy's, by the way. You kind of talked about it earlier, Trouble. You said that they were often the side of the map that often felt weak, maybe let down Dusty a little bit. And you mentioned that when they have a good day, that's a good day for Dusty. And that is exactly what's happened here. You were completely correct. Like when the bot lane from Dusty actually performs, the whole map seems to come together for them. And 7-0-2 on Hoy's, he's got his carry pants on today.
Absolutely. 2,500 gold ahead also for Dusty right here. They can do whatever they want on the map. They've broken mid lane tower. They can start moving their vision a little bit further into the jungle. They can start choking Granit away from anything to farm into that jungle. You see that there's not many moves that you can make, except if you want to engage the Renekton. Fair enough.
Yeah, Tamos was looking for it, but Flaxius will just slice.
He really wanted
the
a Skull Crab.
He really wanted that Skull Crab. I mean, you know, you've got to ult for it sometimes. It's got to establish dominance
True.
in that river area, and he did so.
Bear beats Crocodile, apparently. Here we go.
Gonna go in. That's going to be a pick off straight onto Pedersen. That's a good scalp to take at the start of the fight, and immediately then the ultimate comes through from Sahira. Hoy's taken low, has to use that ultimate to keep himself alive, but he will go down. Suddenly a fight that works out for Granit. Dusty caught absolutely lacking in the mid lane.
And who is untouched, able to put down the damage all this time? It is Mishigu. Once that Xayah is allowed to sit on the side and just put down these auto attacks, Granit have exactly what it takes. Flaxius was nowhere near that fight to try and stop the Xayah, and also Legions could not approach at all due to all the CC going down. Let's see if there's going to be any chance of stealing this, because this is not going down very fast, and Flaxius had the chance to TP back.
Yeah, Flaxius has TP back in here. You can see already Granit have backed out of the fight. That is the shield being generated by Tamos, but a beautiful stun coming out from Legions as they're going in onto this Dragon fight. 2 versus 4 right now. They're trying to bait it out as it's going down. I'm going to see immediately kill comes out from Granit. Sorry, my stream froze for just a second. The fight's still going on. Nice stun scatter the week coming out from Legions. They are buying time for the rest of Dusty to come over. I think they bought enough time for Hoist to pick up the kill as well. Galban forced to run away from the Baron as the sleep comes through from the Lydia. The stun will be there. Double kill for Hoist, and the Baron will flip right over to Dusty.
Again, that Baron was just not going down fast enough, Ex-Scoundrel. It was just not quick enough, and Flaxius was able to go back and TP back in. And with Legions alive, all this space flying about the place, it's just so hard for all the squishy members of Granit to stay inside that pit and keep on damaging the Baron. So Granit tried to make the move. Dusty replied. Legions played that so well, and they also managed to kill the Baron. So as we can see here again, they do catch Pedersen off guard. That is, I think, the second or the third time that the Dusty ADC support has been caught off. And as you can see, Mishigu is so safe all the way in the backline, gets the triple root with the feathers as well. And when you allow the Xayah to put down the damage, it's a good day for Granit. Now here you see that Mishigu gets instantly hit by Legions. He's poked down. Here he's also poked down. And that Pedersen has the time to come back to this fight. But they take out the Xayah. Support for ADC is worth all the time. Legions and Flaxius, the 2 solo laners, clean up the fight as well. And by the time all this is happening, the rest of Dusty is back to secure the Baron. But there's another fight happening in the bot lane.
There is another fight happening in the bot lane right now around this dragon. It's going to be spawning relatively soon. I'm glad I got to watch that fight back, because my stream froze as soon as the Syndra hit the scatter of the week in the Baron pit. So I had no idea what happened for the remainder of the fight there. So I'm glad to kind of watch it back. Dusty very much looking in control. That fight previously, so many feathers Mishigu got down. It was able to just draw them back over the entire Dusty roster. That was insane. Really well played, but I don't think you're going to get too many opportunities like that. Dusty
that was the ideal fight, Ex-Scoundrel.
Yeah, exactly. That was the ideal fight. And I think Dusty are going to learn their lessons about where they and when and where they want to engage these fights. They're going to take that third dragon, one more until the Mountain Soul is available to take. And as you said, they look pretty strong in the late game here as well.
Honestly, it's really important because the Gragas is very squishy as well. And then you have a full team of squishes and plus a Renekton who's a bruiser. So a Mountain Soul would do wonders for Dusty because, again, we mentioned there's only one type of damage coming in from Granit. That's AD. You can itemize against it. You see the Hourglass coming out for the Lilia. You've got Sterak's onto your Renekton. A lot more armor items are going to start coming through for the rest of the team. Possibly Legion's going to go for the Hourglass too. And so here as an assassin, he's going to pop the burst and then he's going to have to back out. Mishigu's going to have to stand still and put down the auto attacks if he wants to get the damage down. So the damage is very conditional, and it's also one type, which is really, really hard to sort of execute. So it's going to have to be, again, an ideal fight. Maybe this one.
Oh, the Wombo comes through. Stopwatch will buy a little bit of time here, but that is going to be immediately a kill onto Chelm. Caught out by the Wombo combo from Granit wants them up on the backline. Flaxius just tearing things up, even though they got a beautiful double ultimate. Flaxius was able to return on the back of that team fight and force out the remainder of Granit, and they're going to go to business as usual, heading back to their lanes and start using that barrier.
Again, they force this fight so hard. Yes, you do catch the Lilia, but then, Hoist?
That is an aggressive play from Hoyes, but he is a Kaiser. He can shred through these tanks. Tamo's now going to get stunned up, and there'll be a double kill for the bot laner, who's had an absolutely brutal game. 13 of the 23 kills picked up by Hoyes himself, and they should now be able to crack potentially an inhibitor turret.
This Kai'Sa build versus tanks is just so absolutely broken. Let's see the replay, and then let's break down the Kai'Sa as well. So as you can see here, they find Chilm and Pedersen, both extremely squishy, beautifully timed right there with the Gallia ultimate as well. Pedersen manages to flash through. Chilm is not lucky, but at the back, no one sees Flaxes on this flank. They end up getting Sahira, they end up getting Dr. Chaos. The second Sahira goes down, you're only left with one damage dealer. Dr. Chaos goes down. You lose part of your front line as well. As Galban and Tamos walk away, they thought they were walking away because Hoyes jumps straight into the pit of the two tanks and completely dismantles them with the help of Legions. So the reason why Hoyes has gone for the Kraken build instead of the Gale Force here is because every third auto, he deals true damage. Every fifth auto from Kai'Sa, she deals AP damage due to her passive. So it's basically AD into true damage, into AD, into AP. In the span of 5 auto attacks, you've dealt all 3 existing types of damage in the game. And with all the attack speed coming in from the Hurricane, this is applied much faster as well. So it's extremely obnoxious for tanks to deal with it, especially adding the true damage right there.
Yeah, exactly. Not only they've got to deal with it in terms of awkward itemization, but they've also got that percentage health-based shred that comes from both the Kai'Sa and the Krakens. So it's obviously a really, really great setup to deal with this front line of the Skarner and the Volibear. Of course, those are the two, the two immediate threats that Hoyes will have to deal with for the most part as they kind of run him down in these team fights. It looks like Sahira has transitioned into a side lane here, maybe looking to just look to press the 1v1, maybe just hoping that he can find a bit more of those 1v1 duels versus Legions. But it doesn't look like Dusty want anything to do with that. They're just going to group up and play as a unit.
Oh, he jumped in?
That was brave from Hoyes. I was not expecting that. He's actually forced to back away. Gonna be a stun coming through. That's a very, very low Tamos who gets taken out by Legions right at the end of the fight. Beautiful body slam to stop Goblin getting into the middle of the fight. The sleep comes through onto 3 members. 3 members blown up as Sahira is immediately thrown back out of the ultimate. And Dusty now surely pushed down this inhibitor turret. They may even be threatening the game.
Hoyes is just unbeatable in this game. No one can touch him. He's jumping underneath towers. He's jumping into tanks. He's jumping into Skarner where he doesn't have the QSS. This man cannot go down, and Dusty might have just done it, Extandle.
They're looking for the desperation save here. The taunt comes through. Sahira knows it's over. He won't even bother. And the Nexus gets pounded away by Dusty. That is now Dusty securing a equal footing with Granit in Group A. And if you asked me this last week, I would have said Dusty had no chance. But they are making a massive comeback in Group A. A playoff spot is still on the line for them. It's still a very big reality for them in this group. And honestly, and what a resurgence it's been, especially the games from this week. Dusty have looked like a different team.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. The play from Granit looked extremely messy, extremely uncalculated. They were making very silly moves around the map. They were greeting for things all the time. But Dusty was there to capitalize every single time one of these mistakes would show. And it takes a good eye and a lot of practice to punish these mistakes really quickly and really effectively. And Dusty managed to do that. I mean, the bot lane popped off. I was the one that put them down in the dirt at the start. And I was like, well, you know what? When the carry happens for Dusty, it doesn't happen through the bot lane. You know, it's either Flaxes or Chilm or Legions popping off. It's like the top side of the map. And Hoyes was like, say what? I heard you talking shit, you know? And just shut me up.
No, I mean, but you did say, and you correctly said that, you know, when they have a good performance, Dusty often have a good performance as a whole. And that was exactly illustrated in this game right here for Hoyes. A beautiful, beautiful play from him on that Kai'Sa. And they really took control of that game. And honestly, Group A is blown wide open now. Anybody is in contention for that playoff spot. There's lots to be won in Group A. And I think there's going to be a lot of action over our last few games of the day. Going to jump to a break when we're back. Hitbrain will be back with a desk to break that game down.
Ain't I mistaken? I've been here before. All my body is aching, shaking to the core. Wherever you go is a heaven, 724. Now don't go be misbehaving, but I'm craving a little more. Can't keep my thoughts inside, don't want no place to hide. Can't get you off my mind, all night and day. You always played it cool, oh but I ain't no fool. I know you feel it too, so what do you say? Well, I'ma give it a try, baby. Don't let the summer go by, baby. No, don't wanna say goodbye, baby. Baby, we should give it a try. Why don't we give it a try? Ain't no mistaken, I'm taken with you. All my body is aching, awaken anew. Oh, I think I'm in heaven it's true. Now don't go misbehaving, but I'm caving over you. Oh, can't keep my thoughts inside, don't want no place to hide. Can't get you off my mind, all night and day. Yeah, always playing it cool, oh, but I ain't no fool. I know you feel it too, so what do you say? Well, I'ma give it a try, baby. Don't let the summer go by, baby. No, don't wanna say goodbye, baby. Maybe we should give it a try. I wanna think about every time you look at my way. I wanna make the most of this high, I wanna talk about every time you wanted to stay. I wanna make the most of this night, so what do you say? Why don't we give it a try, baby? Don't let the summer go by, baby. No, don't wanna say goodbye, baby. Maybe we should give it a try. Why don't we give it a try?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the NLC. Coming off a pretty spicy win there for Dusty, now catching up with Granit in the standings, which is nice for them. And Goldberg, am I right in saying they've got the head-to-head now?
Against Granit Gaming? No, you'll be wrong. They've taken a game of each other now, so they
haven't got the head-to-head.
They're even. Oh wait, what?
No, they don't.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I'm right. I'm wrong.
Come on, Jake, get it together.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know who put
But
me
I'm
in
glad
here.
you're asking these questions, because then we get to kind of, the viewers know that you're wrong and what the right answer is. And Ox, it looks like you're doing a drawing board.
Yes, and apparently I'm going a little bit blind on this one because it's not showing up for me on the drawing board at all. I can't make it play.
All right, but what if I tell you that you need to draw somewhere and then like you just play the clip? Is that a possibility?
Like I'm clicking play and the clip is not playing.
All right. I can describe to you right now that you're looking at 4 Dusty members in the mid lane.
Well,
Well,
unlucky.
We tried. It broke. We'll see if that works. But for now, we actually have Hoyes standing by for an interview. So Hoyes, hello mate, you right?
Hey man.
Feeling good after that win?
Yeah, feeling really good.
Tying the score up there. So I mean, I want to talk a little bit about your rise over the last few weeks, because I think it was fair to say you had a pretty rough start, and you guys have been on a much better upward swing as of late. What's been going on with you guys just to start playing so well all of a sudden?
I think like we set up this team like kind of late before the season, so we didn't get much like practice before it started. So our games were like really messy early on, and even scrims were as well.
Yeah.
I think like in the past few weeks we've started playing a lot better as a team, and yeah, just Quickset has helped us a lot with that as well.
I mean, tied to that question is you guys are now, you're closing in on potentially locking yourself a playoff spot. How are you feeling about kind of going into playoffs and playing versus the top teams in the league?
I mean, we're gonna go for it. Obviously, we're gonna win next week 2-0, and I mean we should be able to beat every team. It's just about the mentality of it.
Yeah. I mean, you're playing XL next week. How are you feeling about those guys then? Because that is probably going to be the biggest challenge now for you. Is if you do want to go too early, you got to beat XL. Have you guys started preparing for that? What's the discussions around the XL game?
Yeah, I mean, I think last time we kind of tried some weird stuff into it. I think we showed them like a bit too much respect, and I think next time we're just gonna go for like comfort, and I think we can beat them easily.
I mean, to be fair, XL were challenged. I think it was yesterday or the first day of the. I think it was the first day of this week. So they're not looking infallible, and you guys are definitely looking like a massively improved team. So I think that could be quite a juicy game. Congratulations on the win, Hoyes. Hope we'll speak to you again soon. All right, speak to you later.
Yeah, see ya.
Now I need to check with Max, our producer. Oh, is it working?
I think so. I think it's appeared to me now. So
okay, cool. All right, Orcs. Let's see if this works. Talk us through your play of the match.
Cool. So this one is around the dragon. Obviously, you can see the setup for this one. My big emphasis is on this Kai'Sa. Really fed here, 4-0-1. There's also the Lilia, and these are both high priority targets. But the approach here, I feel, for the side of Granit is just completely wrong. And as you play the clip, you can see the way Galban comes into this one. We're going to speed it up. Oh, that was a jump. Yeah, right here. So Galban, he comes on this route over here, and he's just beelining straight in this direction, but he doesn't have the support of his team. You can see over to the side, we have Tamos and Mishiku like way over here. Sahira is in position, but for the most part, this is a really scattered attempt at a play. And he ends up going into the middle to get this ult, but he just dies instantly as a result. And the critical thing with Sahira's ultimate here is it doesn't catch Hoyes. So although a ton of damage comes in, and you can see there's a big mix up here, you'll actually see that Hoyes is still off to the side, and still, Mishigu and Tamos have done nothing yet. They haven't even joined the fight or contributed. And already Granit are a member down. So it's a really nice ult that comes in here initially from Mishigu to reposition to the other side of the fight. And that means that when Mishigu and Tamos join, he's not actually going to get hit there. And we follow through on this, and there's this big AoE cleave, but a beautiful cast comes in from Pedersen that just knocks Mishigu forwards. And now it's kind of reversed. It looks like the collapse was coming initially from Granit, but now Granit have gotten the mix. They're already down 2 members in this one, and you can see the way it carries out from here. Hoyes is just able to free hit from the side, and Cheom doesn't even go down, despite the Lilia being the primary target, manages to survive through all of this. And I think here was just a lot of misexecution from Granit, not the right target priority when looking towards that Kai'Sa, who ended up getting a triple kill. And this was the big fight that kind of just firmly put things in control of Dusty.
And I think it was some of the decision making that came through Granit this time. Obviously, Dusty still did a good job of taking the correct skirmishes, but even those priority lanes that you had, like, there's not much to play for with this Ghana. We never realistically saw that. You just decided to commit either a 4-man play or a lane to get in and play around with the priority with this Ghana. It was more like, oh, objective is up, let's try and contest that objective. We lose fight, no proper setup. And that's kind of where it faltered from Granit Gaming, whereas if you were Dusty, it was just like, oh, here's just free vision, here we're starting to strike. And then when it finally looked better for Granit, they decided to start Baron, and from that point on, that was just like probably the most questionable League of Legends we've seen in a while from both teams even. But it was definitely a game. Let's just finish it at that.
Well, with that, we've hit the halfway point. I don't know if it's half full or half empty. I'm an optimist, so let's say half full. We got the best yet to come. Coming up after the break, it's going to be Nordavin versus Godsend. See you in a second.